Shalom, shalom. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Shalom, shalom, shalom to the 12 tribes of Israel. Shalom. Yes, this is another study in our alphabet. Welcome in the room. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome. Let everybody know we're going live. And you all that are watching us from the four corners of the earth, hallelujah, hallelujah. In these last days, Abba Yah is still using us and waking us up and allowing us to help encourage Zion. And we give him all the praise, all the glory, and all the honor for that. Woo, it's good to be here, man. It's good to have you in the room. I'm glad to be back. Man, well, I said last week when I was doing the lumber, man, I got to the end. I said, man, I ain't even been an hour. Right, it was quick. I said, man, you had two quick ones last week. I said, man, that thing was quick. Yeah, 2 40-minute ones. Did I really? Yeah. Man, I said, man, where is your rum? But we in the room, y'all, tonight. And of course, it's our privilege. It is. It really is. It's our privilege to come and to share this beautiful language with y'all beautiful people. His chosen. Right. We didn't choose ourselves. Sure didn't. So we can't take no credit for it. Can't. It's not like we were so righteous, right? Oh my goodness. Because Moses already explained that in Deuteronomy. He said, "Now look, don't get it twisted. It's because of his promise to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob." That's it. He said, "But nevertheless, he will save a remnant." So this is a privilege for us. And as we seek to restore our identity, giving the true language and the pure language back to his people. That's it. Really putting it back into the hands of his people. That's right. Because the truth is, it was stolen. Sure was. Zion, we got robbed. We got robbed of our culture. We got robbed of our heritage. We got robbed of our language. We got robbed of our relationship with Abba Yah. We didn't know his name. We were robbed of the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High Yah. And if you all are not yet convinced that you are the bloodline descendants of that holy Bible, who according to more than one book, Exodus, Isaiah, Ezekiel, Zechariah, Isaiah, they all talk about Zion would not know who they were. Zion would not know, the ox would know his owner, the ass his master's crib. But he said, but my people won't know. Don't know and won't consider. And won't, that's the won't part. Even consider. And so when you and I try to tell them, they like, what? Who? It don't matter. What difference does that make? What difference does it make that you are the apple of his eye? That you are the one that he's seeking for in these last days? You're his bride? Yeah. You're the joy that was set before a Hamashiach that enabled him to endure the cross and despise the shame. And you talking about what difference do it make? Like the whole world shaking and burning and flooding and doing all kind of manner for
for somebody is waking up.
It's for us.
Yeah.
Now, you know that's powerful. And so, you're right. Before we get started,
Yes.
I ran something by you a little bit earlier, just on the phone in passing. And I was talking about the English language.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking about Old English.
Right.
And so a lot of these, modern movies,
Right.
what they do is they use Old English
Today.
to cast spells and things like that
Mm-hmm.
and say things, right? We think they speak in mumbo jumbo,
Right.
but they really using Old English
Right.
words. I thought about how perverted this language we speak must
Completely.
be. How satanic,
Yeah.
and how deep the roots of this and how satanic the roots are of the language.
Right.
And Hamashiach talked about us being in a land where we'll be eating defiled meat, right?
Yeah.
He said you're going to be eating that which is defiled. So we know there's two levels to everything.
Most definitely.
So if you're eating physically defiled stuff,
Right.
that means we also must be being taught defiled
Right.
things. And I thought about, man, this old dirty, nasty language that the slavers gave us had us caught up, man. Has some people bragging on. Matter of fact, when we try to teach them Hebrew, they say, I don't even know English.
Right.
So
It wasn't originally written on English.
it's almost like, to me, it's exactly the opposite of Hebrew.
Right. It is.
You get what
It
I'm
is.
saying?
It clearly is.
What? Okay, go elaborate on that for just a moment.
I mean, even down to the very letters, the twisting of those. We were told by Peter that Paul gets mistaken because of the twisting.
Yes.
But the twisting of our even alphabet, that changed everything. We had letters that meant something. Every letter meant something.
Yes.
Now we get letters that don't mean anything based on words that don't mean anything. And they can just change it up. They change up who we are. They change up what is read in here. We got a billion translations. You put them side by side, you'll confuse yourself.
Man, look, I know you're gonna think I'm joking, but everybody got computer programs
Right.
now. So every now and then, what I do when I'm doing research for a message,
Mhm.
I will actually line up maybe 10 or
I do
15.
the same.
Do you
I
really?
do.
Different translations of the same verse. So I have the interlinear over here,
Yes.
and I line up, and I'm like, boy, these heathens,
Just do what they want to do.
they just make up stuff, man.
Ooh.
One translation I read where one of our kings, Solomon, Shlomo,
Mhm.
he was trying to talk about the vanity of life.
Right.
And they didn't, and so he said vanity, vanity, and of course in Hebrew it means emptiness or
Right.
nothingness, right? But in that translation it said smoke.
Yes, I've seen them.
You seen that?
I've seen them.
Smoke, all the smoke. I said, man, what these heathens?
That's how they got the ghost, holy.
That's what they got the ghost from,
Ghost and smoke.
man. And the reason why I'm bringing that up
Apparitions.
because then you want us to be proud of a language that come out of
Right.
druids and
Come on.
warlocks and witches and spells and all that European
Right.
madness, man. And then we're trying to understand the scripture. We go in the book,
Mm-hmm.
find out our language, which was pure,
Right.
beautiful.
Yes.
Perfect. He said, man, don't add to it, don't take away. Why? It's a perfect record, it's a perfect account.
Right.
Set up with pictures,
Yes.
illustrations for the kids so they won't error. And we can pass it on from generation because an ox is an ox
Right.
from every generation, right? A door is a door.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? A wall is a wall.
Right.
And we could go all the way through our letters and stay pure to the text.
Right.
But
And how do we stay pure as a people throughout the captivities we're in? Because we didn't get the other versions of the letters until Babylonian captivity or Roman captivity.
matter of fact,
we would have stayed with the picture
right.
graph.
I was going to say that. You mentioned that a little bit earlier too. You said, ain't it a shame that our pictograph language was attacked?
Yes.
And from that twisting, which we done learned it on,
Mhm.
so Zion knows you in the room. If you can hear us clearly, put a 7. If you understand this conversation that we're having, we're trying to show you how marvelous and beautiful your language was and really still is. but they didn't twisted it.
Right.
Man, and they keep twisting it.
Keep on doing it. Ain't it
When they moved us off the pictures.
Oh my goodness.
And started giving us characters.
Right.
By the time we got it, we didn't even know the characters, let alone what the characters represented in the pictures and all that. And that's how they were able to manipulate the masses. They stole our most beautiful and perfect language and then got nerve to say they started it.
Come on.
And then when we read this, we say, no, the Greeks got it from the Hebrews, and then the Romans got it from the Greeks, and then the Germans and the French or whatever, they got it in the English and the, which is a perversion and they call it a bastardization of a language, made it English, and then and when it got to that point, then they gave it to the sons and the daughters of the slave trade. But even then, they wouldn't let you read it for yourself.
Cut out books once we could read it. Called
it the slave Bible.
Right.
And then told you don't read the Old Testament.
Don't read that Exodus.
Don't read no Exodus, man. Oh my goodness. And how with all that against us,
we still.
How with all of that against us, man, twisting, turning, one language to the next, perversion, witchcraft, satanic stuff, and all that, and then threaten to put our eyes out, kill us, hang us for reading, and here you and I are returning unto the people the pure language of Hebrew. That's amazing, man.
It is.
I just wanted to put that out, Zion, that this is a privilege.
Yes, it is.
If you only knew how hard the European worked, how diligent the powers that be worked to keep us away from this information, because he knew once we got it, it was a fulfillment of prophecy. And his time of rule ain't gonna be long, because Jacob is waking up. All right, how many we got in the room? Oh, man, it's 142 people in here. Man, let's get started. Shalom, shalom. If you all are ready to begin, we're going to be in the letter MEM tonight. And MEM is our, man, we're on 13.
That's crazy.
MEM is our 13th letter. And as you can tell by these marvelous cards, wonderful cards, the jazz, made from the Hananiah Project. It represents water. And of course, not only does every letter have the picture that it represents, it tells you right there, water, MEM. It's going to give you the paleo, and it's going to give you the original pictograph. So this is where we're going to go. We pretty much do it the same way for you. And I'm going to let Yaron, he's going to show you. Oh, by the way, I'm morehyosh Dawid Ben Israel from the ARK. And tonight, on my immediate left,
Yaron Alkanah, blessed and thankful to be here with y'all.
Hallelujah. And we're dealing with the 13th letter of our Hebrew alphabet. It is called the MEM. So please write that down. If you already continue, put a 13 in the chat for our 13th letter. Put a 13 in the chat on this evening as we study together to let us all know that we're on the same page and that we're on the letter, our 13th letter, and we will continue. Academics first, then we'll do inspiration and insight to our letters.
M. The early Shemitic pictograph for this letter is a picture of waves of water. This pictograph has the meanings of liquid, water, and sea, mighty and massive from the size of the sea, and chaos from the storms of the sea. To the Hebrews, the sea was a feared and unknown place. For this reason, this letter is used as a question word: who, what, when, where, why, and how, in the sense of searching for an unknown. The modern name for this letter is MEM, probably from the word ma'im, meaning water.
Okay, ma'im. So we got the word, the letter is MEM. This is important, Zion. It comes from the word ma'im, all right, which is MEM, Yod, final MEM. All right, so just know that MEM it's MEM, Yod, final MEM. It's where we get ma'im, which is the actual Hebrew word for water. So if you learn Ma'im as the letter, Mem as the letter, you've also learned one of our Hebrew words, right, which is Ma'im for water. That's very important because we're going to talk about that a lot tonight. All right, come on, continue.
The word Ma'im is the plural form of Ma, probably the original name for this letter, meaning what? The Greek name for this letter is Mu, a Hebrew word closely related to Ma. The sound for this letter is M. The early Shemitic Mem evolved into the Middle Shemitic and continued to evolve in the late Shemitic script.
Oh, shoot. All right, there you go.
We've been waiting for that to happen.
What's that? For the finally to tear.
And I was on one you didn't even pull hard.
I didn't pull on this one. I was just trying to straighten this one out. All right.
So we have our different versions there. The late Shemitic script.
Start from the beginning because I didn't have a picture up.
So the early Shemitic.
No, the very,
yes.
This one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect. Sorry, go ahead.
The early Shemitic Mem, it then evolved into the Middle Shemitic Mem.
Right here.
And continued to evolve into the late Shemitic script.
Here.
The late Shemitic script became the Mem and the final Mem, the ones we know now, of the modern Hebrew script. Then the early and middle Shemitic script is the origin to the Greek and Roman.
It's the what?
Origin.
What does origin mean?
It's the where it started from. not the copy.
So why, man, once again, they stole
Greek
our
and Roman
language.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever they talk about history,
right,
whenever they go back in ancient times,
you never hear Hebrew.
They go to Greek. You never hear Hebrew.
Greco-Roman.
They go to the Romans, and then if they do go behind the Romans, they go to the Greeks, and they act like the Greeks started everything. The Greeks came up with everything. The Greeks' wisdom and knowledge and understanding. Let me tell you something. Them Greeks were still trying to bang two rocks together to start a fire when they met up. So, we had full-blown civilization, reading, writing, arithmetic. We knew all the sciences. Do y'all know that we were already doing algebra and trigonometry and physics? We were already dealing with running water.
Come on.
We were in our cities. We already had plumbing going on in the cities. We are the ones that designed homes and houses. You ought to go back and look at Solomon. Solomon built a temple. Our temple, our original temple built by Solomon figured that thing out with pencil and pen even before he built it. And he had every stone of that temple hewn outside of the city so that the temple would be built quiet.
Yeah.
No noise. How you build anything, man? It ain't a racket.
Right.
Man, and you got to measure this thing perfect. And it was one of the 7 wonders of the world.
That's it.
And yet when you do your research, they never take you back to the Hebrews.
Never.
But then they tell you in the book, oh, this is what we got.
Right.
Go ahead, man.
No,
I'm just doing them rants. Oh, that's the end.
Yep, the Greek and Roman M came from our Mem.
Okay, so that is the Mem. And of course, there it is. And so one of the things we want to look at tonight, if you all got that the Mem it represents water, chaos, of course, power. Once again, place a 13 because we're going to be here for a little while. Place another 13, and we will get into some deeper meanings of water itself. So, told I would buy for them 13s. All right. The Mem represents water. And of course, chaos is when water is in like a storm. Chaos can also be when water has overflown its river banks, which causes flooding. And if you all have ever been to the Mississippi River to understand the power of a flow of man, look, the first time I went to the Mississippi River, man, I couldn't believe what I was seeing.
Right.
We don't have nothing like that out here in California,
No.
man. The rivers we got out here in Cali, you could pretty much, man, take a rock, throw it across, man, hit you a deer or something and drag it home. We in a drought. But Mississippi River, incredible amount of power.
Right.
They call it the mighty Mississippi. Well, in the Holy Land, they had the Jordan River, at that time was mighty. Of course, in African Egypt, they had the Nile River. And then, of course, in the Fertile Crescent, we had the Tigris and the Euphrates. Mm-hmm. So our people were well aware of the power of water and how water can be calm, and then how during a storm it could create chaos. They also understood the necessity of water to sustain life. Right. And so therefore, they of course depended on those water sources. One of our letters represented water. It's the MEM. And they got the word mine from the letter MEM. Right. All right.
Thinking about those floods that's going on in different places over especially in the quote unquote so-called Middle East.
Man,
Pakistan
I saw
right
that,
now.
Dude. I saw
90 killed from monsoon rains. It says streets and homes flooded with sewage. The downpours overwhelmed the waste system in the country's largest city.
Last week,
that's
chaos. Sudan, I think the Nile overflowed this year.
Chaos.
Ever since that 400-year mark, man, I've been telling people, pay attention on when you look at the news, pay attention to when they say this is the worst ever. Worst on record, worst recorded. It's happening right now. We're starting to see the power of the MEM all over in desert places. Right. So let's begin understanding that here is that letter written in the easiest way. If you ask a child, say, can you draw some water? This is what they're gonna do.
That's how I draw it. That's waves.
Those are the waves of the water. So because our alphabet was designed to be simple. Right. Remember, the meanings are deep, but the actual drawings are simple. Mm-hmm. They made the water, it looks like water. So if you ever saw this letter, nobody could tell you, that represents a wagon wheel. You'd be like, a wagon wheel? Where you heathens get that from? No, that's water, Aki.
Yeah.
And once we see it, you can't never unsee it. That's water, man. Everybody knows that's what a kid would do if you say, draw some water. And then you say, if you tell them to draw a little boat, boy, they'll put that boat right on top of that wave right there. That's what we'll do. That's it. So if you all understand that letter, because this letter makes a lot of words in our language. Oh my goodness. We're going to look at some of them tonight. But that letter is so important in Hebrew. And I'll explain some of that tonight. So obviously, Yah wants us to know this letter.
Most definitely.
It's probably, other than the Lamed, one of the most used letters in the whole alphabet. Yeah. And there's a reason for that. I'll explain it in a minute. All right. That particular letter has a numeric value. Oh, I have a picture I was going to show. It has a numeric value of 40, which is, first of all, incredible. Mm-hmm. Remember I told you, Zion, we used our letters also to count. Right. So, we went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? And then once it gets to 10, it goes 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, like that. Mm-hmm. So obviously to get like 31, you would take the letter for 30. Well, today I'll do 40, the MEM. And Aleph is 1, so you'd have 41. Does that make sense? If that makes sense, put a 41 in the chat. So MEM is 40. MEM is 40. So if you were doing a 42, it would just be MEM bet.
Right.
See, y'all learn how to count in Hebrew.
Mm-hmm.
Now the letters, the numbers sound a little different, but I'm just showing you our numbering system. That's how we did it. Ain't that simple?
It's simple.
And don't it make sense?
Yep. They think the Romans came up with Roman numerals. They the only ones. That's all they taught us, Roman numerals.
Man, them Roman numerals, man.
numerals.
X, I, Z, X, I, Z, Y. Man, we like, dude, come on, man. We had simplified it.
Yeah.
40 is important. Okay, so tonight, we're not only going to look at the MEM as a letter and a symbol of water, but we will cover how important this number is. It represents 40, and we're going to see some 40s tonight.
Oh, yeah.
That are incredible in your Bible, Zion. And once again, these letters made these, Yah set it up to where these letters would not ever change. Nope. Every time our people saw this letter or saw this word or saw words that began with these letters, they automatically knew the definition.
Right.
And that's one reason that these heathens trying to keep a superior an air of superiority over you, Zion,
right,
because they found out that our words had the meanings inside the letters. And then they come and they write all these dictionaries and you sitting around going, how they know that?
Come on.
Because they stole our stuff. That's how they know.
Ooh, just copied it down.
They stole it. Man, did some research. Man, today I'm on my way. You know, I knew we were doing the MEM, so I went in earlier today. Went and had a cup of coffee and just something so I could sit down and study at like a little cafe place. And I ran across a little clip of a video where this heathen said that he was around some Europeans that had our book that went and locked themselves up, man, for like 40 years to do nothing
but study,
except study our language. Okay. First of all, the fact that a person would see our language and go, hey, I see y'all in 40 years. Hey, y'all don't even know what you just gave me.
Right.
Every letter is a wait, and then every word, and it makes up the Torah.
Right.
And the Torah, oh, how about this? I need to go lock myself up. I'm talking about they did it.
Right.
They went and locked themselves behind in these buildings and in these caves, man, all over Europe. Man, they had little raggedy candles and man, chicken feather pins. Man, they was like, we're gonna figure this thing. Man, and mastered it. Our language.
Yeah.
That we were speaking fluently to one another, man. This was something that we taught our kids.
Right.
Well, when the Europeans saw this, they said, man, this right here changed the world. It's sort of what they did when they conquered the continent they now call Africa.
That's it.
Our kids was playing marbles with diamonds.
Come on.
Talking about, here, shoot it.
Right.
This one right here, real hard and pretty. Man, the Europeans say, that nigga don't even know he playing with a diamond. Hey, little boy, can I play marbles with you? Sure. Next thing you know, they own the whole mountain.
Got us.
Same way when it came to our culture and our language, which I'm going to get to that tonight. Torah itself, the Bible says, is more valuable.
Yeah, it is.
Than rubies.
Yep.
More valuable than gold.
That's it.
More valuable than diamonds.
That's it.
And we forfeited that to be like the heathen. That don't make no sense to me. I don't know why I did this rant. I think what I'm doing, Zion, is trying to let you know something. That what you're receiving tonight, I'm telling you, this caused some people to literally go up into the mountains, shut themselves off from civilization. 10, 20, 30, 40 years at a time, just to unravel this mystery, because they knew if they could ever understand this, it would make them, it will put them on top of the world.
That's right.
In wisdom, knowledge, and understanding.
Right.
Because wasn't that supposed to be our position?
Forever.
Didn't he say you were supposed to be on the top?
We were above all nations.
You would have been above all nations if we would have just held on, but we took it for granted. And now look at us. Got to go all the way, but we learning.
We are.
Hallelujah. We waking up. All right, where was I? Oh, okay. So we're going to look at whenever our ancestors saw the MEM, they also saw 40. So for the MEM, everybody put a 40 in the room. That's what represents the MEM. And I'll show you why that is so important. Let's begin. And I got some pictures, but I want to show. Let's begin with this picture that Jazz was using, a picture like this. Hold this up, man, for the world to see while I do some reading. Do y'all see that wave right there? When our people saw that MEM in their mind, boy, if you was out there fishing, man.
Nah.
If you was out there just call yourself, oh, we're just going to take a little swim.
Nope.
And this thing right here come up, boy. Let me tell y'all something about that MEM. That is power right there.
Forget that.
You'll be a goner.
I ain't going.
You sure you ain't going?
I ain't going already.
Because some heathens are trying to paddleboard out there.
Right.
And the next thing you know, they got to send the Coast Guard.
Yes.
Then they be like, some heathens been out there. They've been putting SOS, but we can't find them at all. We've been looking for 3 days. I think we had to call out the search. It ain't nary a Hebrew ever been caught up under one of them waves.
No.
You know why? In our DNA,
right,
we had a letter called the MEM.
We know.
In our DNA, that MEM said, don't mess with that. That right there,
respect.
That's a good word. That is to be respected.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell y'all why this got to be respected. Can you add to this?
Nope.
Come on, put your little 2 cents in. Can you add your little muscles to that?
Nothing.
Wisdom, understanding, power. You can't add to this. Now watch this. I'm gonna give you another one. Can you or me take away anything from this?
Nope. Not a thing.
I got another one for you.
We'll stop all these storms if we could right now. They can't stop them. Unstoppable.
I got one. Can you create this? Can you make that happen?
The little wave pools, they
boy, let me tell you something.
Bit.
It don't matter what. It don't matter how high you jump off that board, man. That pool you got.
Little wave
that little belly flop you doing, boy. Y'all see that?
Nah.
That represents just raw power.
Power.
I've heard people say that they've been out on aircraft carriers. That when they got in that water and they got in a storm. Now I'm talking about people in the Navy. They say, I've been on an aircraft carrier. They say, Moray, it felt like we was in a thimble.
Yeah.
I said, what? I said, man, you have no idea how big that ocean is, man.
Just nothing.
They said that at one point, boy, Siri
coming on again.
I told you stop listening. Hold on. They said at one point, one guy told me, he said, this aircraft carried like a city, man. You've seen them because you're from San Diego.
Yeah, I've been on them.
Okay, you've been on them. Oh, okay, I know. Okay. He said during the storm, I don't see. He said the storm, 2 waves, picked up that big aircraft carrier, man, and tossed it around like man, it was a toy.
Like it's nothing.
It stands something like 100 and some feet out the water, right? I'm talking about from the surface to the deck. He said, man, they got on that horn, was like, everybody get under, because the waves were crashing over the top of that aircraft carrier, man. I said, and people want to challenge Yah, and they can't even handle his waves.
That's what Drika hit on. She said Moshe spread that seed, ended up looking like that.
What's that? Oh yeah, matter of fact, I got another illustration that I'm going to bring out.
Yeah,
I wanted to show you all that because I want to put in your mind what our ancestors were thinking when they saw the men. They understood power. Now they also understood calm.
Right.
Because that same sea, and the same guy who told me this story, this ex-Navy, what they call a Navy?
Sailor, seaman.
Sailor, yeah, all right. He said a couple days later, he said, Maury, it'd be so still. It feel like we on glass.
Yeah.
That same sea that had us panicking would be so flat that if a person was like a mile away and they struck a match, we could see it. I said, man, he said, man.
Feel like you're not moving at all.
He said that sea ain't nothing to be
been on them cruise ships. I ain't been out to sea in the aircraft carrier, but I've been in a cruise ship. And when it's smooth, but let you get in the storm, you feeling every bit of it.
Now I got another picture of the power of a man, of the men. This is a river that's raging, coming down the mountainside. Y'all see that? And once again, there is not nary a Hebrew Israelite descendant from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob talking about, hey,
right,
let's go jump in that.
I got so many invites.
With a little boat about this big, man.
I ain't never getting.
Wait a minute, and a little skull cap and like a paddle. Oh, no, we're not doing that right. This.
You look.
Now you're gonna have to calm it way down when it's raging like this.
Right, I ain't doing that.
If you calm it down, yeah. But if it's raging,
there's white water,
that's my point. Now you got it. Man, when that thing is raging and going over rocks, there's rocks on the side, rocks in the middle, and they be like, yeah! Here we go.
Man, we had a good time. You should have come.
Coast Guard be like, we got the top side, and 4 of them have been down. We don't know if they're gonna make it. They're pretty well banged up. And then when you look on the news, you look at the storm, you look at that water, you say, oh, there ain't no Hebrew.
Yeah,
there ain't no Hebrews out there doing that. No, we good.
Yeah.
It's in our DNA.
Right.
We respect the raging waters, the raging rivers.
Right.
We don't see that as no play toy.
No.
We like, okay, y'all told our rabbi from a distance.
That's it. Yeah, it looks nice.
Look, man, you ain't gonna hardly find a Hebrew out here even fishing and nothing running like this.
No, might accidentally fall in. Nah. Sneeze too hard and trip.
Man, we'll be like, accidentally, we ain't getting close. You say, come on, let's go see the water running. Even the little kids be like, because the MEM, Zion, is in your DNA. You know.
We ain't taking a chance.
It's got to calm way down before you're going to get out there. We're not messing with this. We have to get caught out here. We don't see this and be like, hurry up, get the board. We got to go. No. This going to have to calm down. We ain't going to the beach. And this got to calm way down because we sure ain't going to get in that water. Now, why is that important? Because I wanted to show you simply that we understand there's a couple of words that we need to see. Chaos and mighty. The last one on there is the word blood. So I just showed you mighty and I showed you chaos. The last thing I want to show you is the word blood. So write that down.
Yeah. So
we saw the mighty rivers, we saw the chaos of the sea, but now I want to look at blood, all right? Blood, B-L-O-O-D, blood. And of course, the word from that we use for blood, obviously, is dam. And so what is blood? Blood is, to the Hebrew, red water. Okay, it's red water. Red water that moves through your system, of course, that keeps you alive. And that's why we know Adam's color. Right. Because Adam has in it the idea of blood mixed with earth or mixed with soil. And there is no way. No. How about we get the truth and stick with it? Zion, if you can clearly understand that this MEM is also used when we talk about blood. Let's see. Put a 50 in the room. A 50. Blood. Very, very important that we see that a MEM represents blood, because we have a word for death. And the word for death is moot. Okay, so when we see the word, the 50s is in here, man. Yeah. They get in the lesson tonight. Moot is when the movement of the blood has stopped. Correct. And so when a person dies, their blood, most of the time, is when a person's blood is spilt, then that is considered, our people consider that as a form of chaos in the body. That's it. Which will then, of course, cause death. So we also see something very important in the MEM, that if the MEM represents blood, then there is.
That's it. That's it.
Then there's power in blood.
That's right.
As a matter of fact, there's power in the blood. Come on. And we're not talking about bulls, goats, turtle doves, lambs. Let me tell you something, man. If it had not been for Hamashiach, Yahoshu, there would be nary a lamb.
Ain't no it.
Because you Hebrews can sin. Oh my goodness gracious.
New age.
Man, it was an act of humanity for these sheep and turtle doves, man, because every year
killing all the animals.
Man, we would have to kill so many lambs and doves and goats and bullocks, man. I'd be like, man, what's wrong? And them heathens, man, them Hebrews, man, they got to sacrifice for their sins.
Everything's in danger.
So do you know why we had to keep doing it? Because their blood could never take away our sin. No. So therefore, every year, every Shabbat, every time you did something wrong, every time you know what I'm saying? You had to go through this blood thing. And nobody really understands, like, why the blood? Because the innocence of the animal that was slain was supposed to be a reminder to you that when that animal goes moot, when that animal dies, that should have been you dead.
That's it.
And that was the whole purpose of the sacrificial system. Not like these heathens who take innocent babies and throw them in the volcano.
My goodness.
Talking about I'm gonna calm down the volcano god. Or sacrifice a young virgin girl because they want some rain and all that. No, get it straight, Zion. We didn't play that.
No.
Baal and Ashtaroth. I mean, that wasn't not our people.
Sure wasn't.
And you know what else we did?
What's that?
When we sacrificed those animals? 99% of all the animals that was ever sacrificed, one, were clean.
That's it.
And then they were eaten.
Right.
By the people.
That's right.
They wasn't just thrown in the garbage and wasted.
The whole thing just thrown in. Nah.
It's not our culture, Zion. And I'm going to tell y'all something else. That's why, as Hebrews, we don't shed innocent blood.
That's right.
Whether it's animals or humans.
Right. Ain't out there just trophy hunting.
We don't do that. That's that heathen that does that. We don't just go hunting and kill something and take a picture of it and leave it out in the field, man.
Elephants and just leaving them.
Now, I never shall forget. As you know, I keep telling you, my people Native American, so even though I can't get a quarter from the government, none of that casino money come out here, man.
Nah, that ain't gonna happen.
Even though, man, my grandma raised on the reservation, man, my other grandma, man, we got the numbers from her tribe.
They ain't trying to hear.
We went up there, man. We sent our tribal leader up there to talk to the government. They said, well, if you don't get your but anyways, But anyway, my dad's an Indian, right? Come with my mom and I remember when he first taught us how to hunt. That was the first lesson he told us. You don't shoot nothing. You don't plan to eat.
That's it.
We don't hunt for fun.
Right,
we don't hunt. Okay, it may be exciting to go out and get your skills together, but understand something. We're not just going out here killing a bunch of birds.
No.
Just leave them.
Right.
We kill a pheasant, we're gonna eat the pheasant. If we get him on the first hit, second hit, if we get 2 of them, that's it. Man, my pops was so real about that. If we went fishing and we injured a fish, no, you can't throw it back. Like if you catch it, he swallowed the hookers up.
Right.
He said, no, put it in the thing. We don't waste. Man, I wish we could get back to some of them principles.
Right.
What made
Value
him know? There you go.
Value that blood.
Right.
Saying since Cain and Abel, that blood crying out.
Blood's got power.
Yeah, it does.
Blood has power that we don't even understand. No. But our ancestors knew it was something wrong with just killing. For killing sake. Right. And so we understand then that there was something about the blood. Now, our blood has power because the very blood in us that gives us or animates us. Well, it's your spirit, but the blood that's keeping us alive, right? If you notice that the power of the blood is what enables a generation to pass its genetics down to the next generation, Right. And so when you see somebody and say, man, that person got some strong genes, really what you're saying is, man, that bloodline is very strong and powerful. And therefore, if the bloodline gets contaminated some kind of way, then the only hope for you really to stop it is some kind of a transfusion.
That's it.
And Zion, I'm talking spiritual now. Because our foreparents, unfortunately, man, went against Abba Yah. And as a result, fell into sin. Now we need the strength of blood to cure whatever the problem of sin is. We need something more powerful than sin to wash away sin. And let me tell you what can't do it. A dove, a goat, a bullock,
sheep, none of it.
Forget it. And so what ends up happening is Yah, through Hamashiach, I'll show that in a second, then gives his blood. He purchases us. He cleanses us with his own blood. So it's powerful that we understand that the MEM also represents blood. All right. If everybody's on the same page, you're about to move. Where we at in time, man?
47.
Oh, we're doing all right.
Your other video would have been over by now.
Hallelujah. Y'all put a 100. We about to go to the next level.
All right.
About to go to the next level. Put a 100 in this chat. Now we want to examine this word. Well, you know what? I'm going to take you a little deeper with the meaning of the MEM, and then I'm going to go into the numbers. I want to get to this MEM again before we get to the number. Another level, waters, right? But water in the Bible can also speak, like many waters, can also represent many nations. So water could also be nation. And it talks about nations flowing into our Holy Land, right? And then a promised land and nations flowing out. It's a picture of like nations coming in and out. And if you were able to see nations moving all at once, coming in and out, it would look like a stream of water. Understand that. And also understand that languages and tongue, that's different languages, different speech, can also have something to do with this idea of many waters.
That's right.
All right. I want you to really understand that. So therefore, you will find in the Torah, especially in the book of Revelation, when he talks about the many waters, he literally tells you he actually gives you the interpretation of the vision when he says, and the many waters or the seas were actually nations and people. All right. So understand that also has to do with the MEM. Why? Because it represents either the chaos of nations, or it can, in the positive sense, it can represent the obedience, say, of a nation. All right. I also have the meaning of water that represents the word.
That's right.
Of Yah. All right. So in the Bible, Torah, MEM, representing water. But water in the Bible represents Torah.
That's it.
Okay? If y'all heard the more, put another 100, because this right here is important. That MEM represents water, and water in Scripture represent Torah. All right? A better word, another word we could say, water represents the word of Yah.
Right.
And remember, when I say Torah, Torah is actually Yah's instructions to us, which is literally Yah's words to us. And that's why we know that Torah and Hamashiach go together, because John chapter 1,
that's right,
verse 14 says, and the Torah became flesh and dwelt among us. That is so important that you understand that Torah in the Scripture is often called water. And I need to research this a little bit more, but I was actually told that every time you see water in the Bible, it will have a spiritual reference to the word. I said, what? So every time we see water,
thinking of the verses right now.
Yeah, so think about that. So if let's just say Genesis, right? Where we get the atmosphere,
right,
the waters,
right,
represents the word. We have to dwell in the word, right? Okay. Think about Noah.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about that in a minute when we get to the number. But remember, he was in the flood, the flood waters. But being in the ark of safety, he was able to endure the waters. So, of course, the last days we deal with judgment.
Yeah.
The judgment that's coming on the world is not coming from the devil.
No.
I keep telling people that all the time. You will not be judged based upon Aleister Crowley.
No.
You will not be judged based upon Harry Potter. There will be no Harry Potter class talking about we're going to judge the Hebrews. Get it out your mind. Ooh. There will be no judgment based upon the Wizard of Oz.
No.
Clicking heels and talking about no place like home.
Sorry.
The Monkskin Man. None of that, man. We're not going to be judged on none of that heathen satanic mess. Good. You know, the judgment that's coming on the world is not coming from the devil.
Not at all.
The judgment that is to come upon the world is coming from Yah. The storm of Noah's day came from Yah.
That's right.
Am I right about that?
You're right.
And the revelation. Where my picture at? Woo. Didn't I say you can't make this?
No.
You can't make this happen. Y'all getting ready to make this happen.
That's right.
But it'll be a wave of fire.
Come on.
You can't stop it. It'll be his judgment. So the way he judges us is with the word.
That's right. That's right.
So watch this, Zion. The heathens told us that baptism was not in the Old Testament. They told us that baptism was a new thing. That's the Christian church. That white sister, you started baptism. You a lie, a wonder, and your breath stank. Stop lying to our people. We have a word called mitzvah. We always washed and cleansed and baptized. Right.
Always.
Matter of fact, I don't have the verse, man. You might want to look this up. In Jude, he says that the world was baptized in the flood. Man, Noah survived.
Right.
Why is that important to see that word? It's because that word is our history. It's a historical word. When our king, no. It started with Moses. When he did the first temple, he had baths of water.
Sure did.
Set on the inside of the temple so that when you came in, you couldn't just walk straight into the holy place. No, man, you had to wash yourself first.
Come in there clean.
Didn't you have to do it? You had to bathe first. And when Solomon, because you know he was eccentric, and you know we still got Solomon today among the Hebrews, right? He just ain't gonna do nothing like nobody else. No. He gonna be extra.
Got to be the most.
Man, they said Solomon, and so imagine having like not just a little bowl of basin. He built a basin so big they called it a sea.
The sea.
He said, "Now all you Hebrews jump up in there." They'll be talking about it. Hey, look, that thing big enough for 150, 200 of y'all. Get up in that thing and get clean before you walk up into the temple. And they had to go into that sea and get clean before they could go into the temple. And what I'm showing you is that also represents the water of the word. Right. You don't just walk into Yah's presence without understanding. You need to be cleansed by the water of the word of Yah.
You're right.
All right. So give me 2 Peter chapter 3. You're on, please. Right. 2 Peter chapter 3. And we're going to make our way to the end. 2 Peter chapter 3. And just jump in around verse 5.
Bible always sticking together. 2 Peter chapter 3. Verse 5. For this they willingly are ignorant of.
Let's see. Yeah. That's why I didn't want to start there. Start here.
Verse 4. 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 4.
There you go.
And saying, where's the promise of his coming?
These are the mockers and the scoffers in the last day talking about, hey, where is he coming? When is he coming? Go ahead.
For since the fathers fell asleep, all things continue as they were from the beginning of the creation. Verse 5. For this they willingly are ignorant of.
For this they ignorant of. See, they don't realize that everything has not been the same since creation. The judgment that is to come is not the first time this earth been judged. Come on.
For this they willingly are ignorant of, that by the word of Elohim the heavens were of old, and the earth standing out of the water and in the water, whereby the world that then was, being overflowed with water, perished.
Okay, so we know, based on the Bible, that the world that was under the water, that ended up coming out of the water, because of judgment, perished in the water, right? So watch what this does for our people, Zion. Watch the insight. That whole water scene was judgment from Yah because man was wicked. So things were okay. Then Yah spoke a word. He said, man, what is wrong with these people? Right. Every thought, every imagination, all the intents of their heart is only evil continual.
Yeah.
He said, I'm just going to wipe them out.
Yeah.
And then Noah found sin, we say grace, in the eyes of Yah, and built the ark, right? But did that ark stop Yah's judgment? See?
Judgment
that
came.
Water is the word. And that's what Kefa is trying to say, is that y'all looking at the physical water and not seeing the other level. Yah calls that water.
That's right.
Because the water in the Bible represents Yah's word. And when humanity and mankind is going against Yah and his word, then the same word of Yah becomes man's judge. It's the judgment.
That's right.
And I hope this get out to Zion worldwide. You all worried about your political systems judging you?
My goodness.
They don't have the final say.
Sure don't.
And you can say it all you want. Well, long as I just be a good, what? You're going to rather please man and then have to face the wrath of Almighty Yah?
Come on.
You don't understand the power of the flood of judgment.
That's it.
All right.
That's that next verse, verse 7.
Come on.
Talking about fire, but still.
Come on. Oh, go ahead.
But
read
the
it.
heavens and the earth, which are now
Talk about
by
it.
the same word, are kept in store, reserved unto fire against the day of judgment and perdition of ungodly men.
So it's coming.
It's coming. It's being kept.
So if that was clear, I just want you to see that the MEM represents water. So when you see water being used as judgment or as a symbol of judgment, it means that mankind will be judged by Torah. If that's clear, put a 400. I got another word for you. I got another verse. Get Ephesians chapter 5. And I was going to have you start at verse 22. I think I still might. Jump into 22, man. Because if I jump in at 20, people are going to be wanting to talk about that all night.
This is the Bible. 2. All right, verse 5. Chapter 5, verse 20. 21.
You know what? I said 22, but let's go 21.
Ephesians 5, starting at verse 21. Submitting yourselves one to another in fear of Elohim.
So that represents the assembly. All right, now I'm going to get closer. Watch this.
Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands.
Wait, wives do what?
Submit yourselves.
No, wives run your husbands.
Submit.
No, wives, tell your husbands what to do.
Submit.
No, wives, you got to be the boss and take charge.
Submit.
That word says submit.
That's it.
I was reading this to my 2 daughters, and they said, what does the word submit mean? I said, obey. That's what it means. It's simple.
Yeah.
You submit. We don't even have to argue that.
That's it.
Right? Now, what does it say?
Unto your own husbands as unto Yahuwah.
As unto Yah. So obviously, if that word submission is in there, it means something. That's why I said I didn't want to jump in it, because I know everybody gonna be like, want to talk about that. It ain't really nothing to talk about. Submit yourself to your husband. Get over it. That's our position.
Right.
Now watch this. He says, do it as though you are submitting to Hamashiach himself. That does not make your husband Hamashiach.
Come on.
He's saying, submit to him as though he was Hamashiach. See, that would change our whole nation if we really begin to understand, because we still dealing with the power of the MEM. I'm going to show you. Now watch this. So you got how many verses for the wife? Read it.
Just that one.
It's just one, ain't it?
Well,
no, come
keep
on.
going, but yeah, that one.
It's one. So you see in verse 22, you got one verse for the wives. Submit to your own husbands as unto Yahuwah. All right.
We got the weight here.
Now go to verse 23.
For the husband is the head of the wife, even as Mashiach is the head of the assembly.
So ain't no questioning who the head is.
No.
The scripture done clearly told us who the leader is. Come on.
And he is the savior of the body.
All right. And Hamashiach is the savior of the body. Come on.
Therefore, as the assembly is subject unto Mashiach, so let the wives be to their own husbands.
He says, so if the assembly has got to humble themselves to Hamashiach, then let every wife humble herself and be submissive to her own husband. Come on.
In everything.
In everything.
In
something.
Everything.
Okay. In everything. Hey, and just, you sure about that?
That's what it says.
Okay.
Everything.
All right. It's not that lesson tonight, but if it was, we could go into this. All right, come on.
Verse 25.
Listen.
Husbands.
Verse 5.
Husbands, love your
verse
wife.
25. You're right. I'm sorry.
Love your wives.
Now he said, now husband, listen. You got to love your wife. And that word right there does not, that word ahava. By the way, ahava, which is the biblical word for love, is related to the men. I'll show you in a minute. But he says you must love your wives. Come on.
Even as Mashiach also loved the assembly.
Now he says, now you have to love her like Yah loves his people. You have to love her like Yah loves Israel.
That's right.
Like Yahoshua loves the house of Israel.
Right.
Now, what is that all about? You know, that's more than sitting around drinking red Kool-Aid.
Much more.
And playing Nintendo.
Come on.
And smoking blunts.
Come on.
Talking about I'm the man. No, that's not how it works. Play out. This ain't 1960, 1972, man. You know what I'm saying? You still trying to be pimping and stuff, man. No, we Hebrew Israelites now.
Nah, it don't work that way.
We know who we are.
That's it.
We know whose we are. We done read the book.
Yes.
And we know that Yah has provided for his house, looked for his house, cared about his house, protected his house, make sure there's food in the house, make sure nobody comes in trying to disturb the house, set up the situation where mama, when she go to sleep at night, can sleep deep. Because if it's a bump in the night,
right.
I'm going to tell you, I'm just going to tell you, Hula ain't getting them.
No.
I sleep a little deeper than her.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know why. I'm not gonna say why. I just sleep a little deeper, right? Not nary a time in the 11 years we've been married has she ever heard a noise, just jumped out the bed and said, I'm not gonna wake him up.
Right.
I'm not gonna wake him up. I heard a noise. I heard something go bumping in the night. No, man, quick.
Right.
Did you hear that? What? I heard sleep. I said, did you hear that? So that did you hear that means?
I mean, go find out.
So I gotta go get up and find. Why? I'm the man.
That's it.
Didn't y'all, if he saw danger against the church, then he. If the bills got to be paid,
time for that action.
You do know, right? I go pay the bill. I go to work. I work hard, and y'all know at the Shabbat. I mean, just at the Awakening Remnant. That we putting in hours, man, of research and study. But let's say if some kind of way the Hebrew said, man, we not giving morehyosh Yahoo another nickel.
Back to the
man,
grind.
I'll be out here making tents.
Back to the grind.
Man, I'll be out here flipping burgers. Man, I'll be out here, man. I'll sweep up after a parade if it means keeping the lights on and keeping my kids fed.
Right.
Come on, husband, love your wife as how. In other words, there's a responsibility I'm trying to show you. We're not just talking about being a male. Just like we're not talking about just being a female.
Come on.
Females have responsibility, but so does the man. Now watch this. Come on.
Even as Mashiach also loved the assembly and gave himself for it.
And be willing to die. Come on.
That he might sanctify.
Okay, so the reason that he was willing to give his life for the assembly is so that he could set the assembly apart just for him. Come on.
And cleanse it with the washing of water by the word.
So he's then going to cleanse his assembly by the washing of the water of the
by the word.
By the word. So you see there that the washing and the word go together. That's the MEM. The power of the washing, the power of cleansing. Now, brothers, sisters, Akeem, and a Kotim, please hear the more. Sometime, in order to get a garment clean, it's got to be washed, and that washing includes agitation.
That's right.
Oh yeah, you can't just wash the real soil stuff like this. It's clean. Nah, you'd be like, I used to see them in the old days with the washboards.
Scrub it.
But now we got a cycle. When you put that in the machine, it
Right.
Man, you think you open that lid, you think them clothes is in there going, oh, this is so nice. Man, them clothes getting beat. Yeah, they're like, boy, what is happening here? The spots got to be cleansed out through agitation sometimes.
That's it.
So here's my point. When Yah is trying to wash us as his people,
yes,
it don't always feel good, but we still got to go through it.
It ain't delicate.
We can't watch everything on delicate.
It ain't wool like time.
No, man. hey, I'm gonna tell you something. Cause we work in the fields. You know, you work in the fields now.
Yeah.
Now, when you was in the city, you might could get away with that.
Right.
But now that you're in the country, you understand.
It's always heavy duty wash now. It still come out with stains. I'm like, overalls all soiled up.
Man, look. Man, every wash.
What's wrong with this tie? It ain't working no more.
He said every wash is heavy duty now. Zion.
Ain't no normal wash no more.
As we get ready to be presented back to our king, you think he finna just put you on delicate wash? No. We gotta be cleansed.
That's right.
So Hamashiach has to do the work of cleansing us with the word. Even though sometimes we rebel against the word, we have to learn to submit and allow him to cleanse us. And you husbands, you got to learn the word.
Yeah.
Please don't tell me what you don't know. What we need to know is what you do know.
That's it.
Because as a Hebrew, the more you learn, the more you teach. The more you teach, the more you learn.
Hand in hand.
So you don't have to become a biblical scholar to begin to walk in the Hebraic truth. Right. Walk in what you know.
That's it.
And I'm going to tell you a secret. Don't tell nobody. If you walk according to the Holy Bible in truth, most of the time, your wife is going to be good with you.
Most definitely.
Some of that fussing and irritation that she's showing you is to test to see your resolve, to see how true you are in Torah, or you just going to give in to her. But I be passing them tests, boy. I'm in this thing a long time. That don't mean we don't respect each other.
Come on.
I mean we don't love each other. But it ain't gonna ever come down to me or Torah, you or Torah.
Right.
Let's just understand that is already settled.
That's what got us in trouble in the first place.
Yeah, I'm with the book. Man, look here. I'm too close to the end.
Right.
To be trying to go all the way back to the back of the line.
Nah.
No, how about this? Teach the truth, live it, love your wives according to the Bible the way Hamashiach loved the assembly.
That's it.
And then cleanse your family.
Right.
You ain't got to beat them down.
Sure don't.
Man, you ain't got to cuss them out.
Nope. You better not.
Man, you ain't got to do none of that. All you got to do is sit down with them and open that Bible. Genesis 1:1.
That word.
Sit down, family. In the beginning, Yah created the heavens and the earth. This is Yah's world.
Come on.
He owns it. The sky is his, the earth is his, the water, the land, and everything.
Yeah.
He said, that it for the night, Dad? Yeah, I'm going to go back and study verse 2. I'm going to go study verse 2 tomorrow, and I'll be on that. I'll talk to you about verse 2. It's all I got for right now. But that's a good start, ain't it? And that's how you begin to cleanse. Not only your family, your wife, and your children, and the water's cleansing you, then your family, then the assembly, and hopefully the remnant.
That's it.
So I wanted to say that because that is an important part of the MEM, the washing of the water by the word. All right, let's go. Matter of fact, if that made sense, put a 1,000 in this chat, and then we're gonna continue. Put a 1,000 in this chat. I got another verse for you. Okay. Most people know this verse. Go to Romans chapter 12 and let's look at verse 1 and 2. Because here we're going to see another side of cleansing. Man, the 1,000 is rolling through here because understanding being had. And almost 259 people on a Monday night learning the alphabet.
Hallelujah.
Man, what is happening?
All
Is the
praises
remnant waking up, man?
We are.
And them thousands are still rolling because truth is going forward and is blessing Zion. All right, start at verse 1 this time.
Romans 12, verse 1. I beseech you, therefore, brethren.
So I'm begging you, I'm urging you, brethren,
by the mercies of Elohim, that ye present your bodies a living sacrifice.
Okay, so he's saying, while we don't physically kill ourselves,
right?
But he said, I want you to sacrifice yourself, though, but you don't do it as a dead. Don't kill yourself. Be a living sacrifice. In other words, learn how to die to yourself every day so that you can be alive to him.
That's right.
I tell people this all the time. I practice. You have to practice dying. I don't know how to say it no other way. You have to think about, man, emptying yourself on a daily basis. Asking Abba Yah to loosen your grip on materialism, loosen your grip on worldly things and attributes, and tighten your grip to him.
Yes.
So we're talking about presenting yourself as a living sacrifice. In other words, I'm giving myself over to Abba Yah to do whatever he wants to with me for his kingdom. Come on.
Holy and acceptable.
The word holy means set apart from everything else. Acceptable unto Yah,
which is your reasonable service.
Which, by the way, is not something extraordinary. No. Everybody should do that.
Yes.
Ain't that?
That's Ecclesiastes.
Can you imagine your wife saying to you, man, you know what? I think I'm going to keep myself separated to you.
Say what?
Yeah, I think I'm going to... Have we been married how long now? 5 years. I think I'm just gonna be with you. I'm gonna stop thinking about what the other men was telling me.
Oh my goodness.
I think I'm gonna start renewing my mind with you. So how long we been married? 11 years. You just now want to be separated to me?
It'll be 11 hours. You're gonna be like, what?
11 minutes. The average Hebrew be like, wait. That's why Paul said, man, that's your reasonable service.
Reasonable.
If you now with Yah, you need to be with Yah.
Plain and simple.
Separate yourself to him.
Yes.
And that's why I believe we got 264 people in here on a Monday late night trying to understand this MEM.
Yeah.
Because they see how important it is that our mind get renewed.
That's it.
Come on.
Which is your reasonable service.
It's what you're supposed to do, Zion.
And be not conformed to this world.
And don't let the world shape you.
But be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind.
Okay, so that word there for renewing is a Hebraic word related to the MEM. It's just like cleansing. The idea of renewing or renewal or refreshment. Yeah. So he's saying that when we see the MEM in a word, especially, watch this, when we see the MEM in action as powerful water, what that powerful water is always seeking to do is to renew you.
That's it.
Okay? So think about this. Let's start with Noah again. The water that came up on the earth was to renew the earth.
That's right.
From what? All that sin and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So the water proved as a means to cleanse the earth.
That's it. So
that it would be renewed. All right, I got another one. How about Moshe leading the children of Israel through the Red Sea?
Yeah.
They were supposed to leave Egypt
leave it all.
And allow, right. They were supposed to allow all that Egyptology, crazy stuff.
Right.
Google gods, frog head gods, armadillo head gods, snake head gods. What's wrong with these?
Doodle beetle gods.
You were supposed to be done with dung beetle gods and snake head gods. And boy, they better leave all that stuff in Egypt.
Leave it under the sea.
And so we go through the water. You're supposed to be renewed. You ain't even supposed to be a slave no more.
the army of Egypt was buried in the sea. They should have left all that back.
Yeah, that's a good point. And the very enemies of Israel were drowned in the sea while we were delivered through the sea. Man, that's a good point. So we see the water working in both ways, destroying the enemy, and becoming the salvation for Zion.
Hallelujah.
So why would we want to be the enemy? Why we want to hang out with the enemy? No, the MEM tells us that there was a purpose for moving us out of Egypt into the promised land. We were supposed to go in as a renewed people. Just like once we realize who we are and whose we are, we become a renewed people. Man, when I found out let me tell you something. And Abaya knows I'm not saying this out of pride. I'm saying this out of reality. People say, man, you walk around like you own the world. I'll be like, I do.
It is what it is.
It's my father's world.
I didn't make the rules.
Yeah. He called him
now.
Man, I'm with him. Say, man, you just going out there? Why not? When I go to the ocean, y'all, you know what I'm going out there for? I'm not looking at trying to find the border to United States of America to see where our authority begins and ends. I could care less. Right. When I go to the ocean, I'm looking at my father's.
His handiwork.
Come on.
His creation.
That's my daddy's water.
His law being kept.
I go up in the mountains, man, you going up there? Yes. To do what? I want to go see my father's handiwork. Right. Man, they got all kind of little signs around the trees in California. This is General Grant. That ain't no dang General Grant. What's wrong with y'all? I mean, that tree is named after our. No, it's not. That biggest tree in the world. That's a picture of my Hamashiach.
Come on.
Strength and durability and shelter and time. You seen that tree?
I have.
Man, please. This we're going up here to see the general shelter. Man, are you the slavers?
Right.
What is wrong with y'all? This is my father's world.
Right.
I'm going up there. Matter of fact, as soon as these fires is over,
we try to go up there.
I'm going up there to rename every tree. That's Abraham, Isaac, that's Jacob.
Let's go.
Hey, that's Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, Zebulun.
Yes, let's go.
Man, we're going up to rename all my father's world. Talking about Mount Rushmore. Nah, we got some better faces to go up there. Matter of fact, I think I'll make Mount Rushmore. We'll rename that mountain. We'll get them heathens faces off of there, man, and we'll put up our great prophets.
Come on,
Elijah, Elisha, Obadiah and Amos, because it's my father's world. I said, man, you walk around here like you own the world. Well, kind of. I'm an heir.
I was gonna say.
I'm an heir.
Yeah, that's it.
And a joint heir with Hamashiach. Not my words.
Not mine.
Not my words. That's in the Bible.
Hallelujah.
How did I get way over there, man? What was I talking about? What verse were you?
We renewed our minds, all right.
Oh, all right, man.
Want to finish this verse? By the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is good and acceptable and perfect will of Elohim.
So that the only way we're going to prove to the world, or in other words, we're going to be able to make manifest what is good and acceptable and perfect will of Yah, is that our minds change about who we are and whose we are. Once you realize Yah is your Abba, Hamashiach, the great king, has purchased you with his own blood in order to redeem you back into the family that you are already a part of. Once you see that your mind is supposed to change, and now we're supposed to walk in what's called the newness of life. And yes, that represents the MEM, because many of us, how we even came to truth in the first place is we came out of the deep troubled waters of sin.
Oh my goodness.
Or we came out of great troubled waters of judgment.
Come on.
Or we came out of chaos.
Yes.
Man, we was all confused.
All kind of confused.
Please don't tell me, man, that you had Easter egg hunts, man. And Christmas. And and bunnies.
Sad state.
Was we confused?
Confused to the end.
Man, we said, man, that there should be no graven images, and then had cupids hanging down from the ceiling with little arrows, man, and spinning from little strings like this.
Trying to book nights and order gifts and get it all ready.
What was we doing? Didn't know the words.
Sad.
Didn't understand the power of our alphabet, of our words.
No,
but now that we're starting to understand that we're the kings and queens set apart by Him, learning our alphabet and seeing the importance of being washed and cleansed by Torah, starting to make a difference.
It sure is.
All right, give me this is a good one. Now I want to show you. We're going to close this thing. Okay. Now I want to show you all Hamashiach. All right, because we already discovered that Torah is water in the Bible. Water in the Bible represents Torah. John chapter 1 verse 14 says, and the word Torah became flesh and dwelt among us. But I want you to hear what Hamashiach says about himself. Go to John chapter 4 verse 14. And those of you who still on the fence about Hamashiach, I'm glad you're in the class. Stay with it.
Stay.
Because by the time it's over, and you had them 22 letters, and every single one of them points to him.
Yeah, come on.
Woo! It's going to strengthen your faith.
Verse what?
Matter of fact, start at verse 12, I think.
Verse 12.
Where we at? Woo! Start at 11.
All right. John chapter 4, verse 11.
Man, we can't
go
that.
Back?
Yeah. The background of this.
Give me the drink.
You know what? Start at 1.
Verse 1.
Y'all, look. We're going to do this. It's going to take a little while, but this is important. The background of this text is that Hamashiach is walking and he's tired. So his disciples, they go on and he sits down by a well. And notice that it is a well of water. And he's going to meet a woman at this well of water. Remember, water represents MEM. And he's getting ready to have a conversation about this water. And watch what he says, because you know he's the one who gave us the alphabet. He got this thing down pat. Watch the story and how perfectly beautiful it is. Come on.
Verse 1. When therefore the master knew how the Pharisees had heard that Yahushua made and baptized more disciples than John, though Yahushua himself baptized not, but his disciples. Verse 3. He left Judea and departed again into Galilee. And he must needs go through Samaria.
I got to go through Samaria. Come on.
Verse 5. Then cometh he to a city of Samaria, which is called Sychar, near the parcel of ground that Jacob gave to his son Joseph.
And if you go back to this place in the Old Testament, you're going to see what Jacob gave that well. So this is you can actually do the research and know that Abraham dug some wells. And then, of course, Isaac inherited some wells, and then Jacob. And then, of course, so this is a historical fact that the Samaritan people, remember, even though they had mixed with some of the people from Assyria and other places in captivity, some of them retained their culture and their history.
They knew it.
So when they came back into Jerusalem, or into what we call the Holy Land, they were in a place called Samaria.
Yep.
But that's where, though, this well was, but it did belong to Jacob. Now, come on. I want to give you that background. Matter of fact, if y'all understand that, put a 5,000 so we can roll on. You need to see that the Samaritan place that he goes to is still under what we would call the promised land.
That's right.
Okay, come on.
Verse 6. Now Jacob's well was there. Yahushua, therefore, being wearied with his journey, sat thus on the well, and it was about the 6th hour.
He sat on the well. Come on.
There cometh a woman of Samaria to draw water. Yahushua said unto her, give me to drink. For his disciples were gone away into the city to buy meat.
So he said, he was sitting there, he said, she walked up to the well. He said, give me something to drink. He said, give me something to drink. Now, ain't that something?
Right.
He is a grown man.
Sitting there already.
You know what I'm saying? Strongest man on planet
Right.
Earth. Sitting on the well. He said, give me some water. Watch what she said.
Then saith the woman of Samaria unto him, how is it that thou, being a Yehudim, askest drink of me, which am a woman of Samaria?
She said, wait. How are you being of the Yehudim, not European?
Mm-hmm.
Not European.
Mm-hmm.
You're not English, not Roman.
Nope.
No, she said, you of the Yehudim, that's us.
Mm-hmm.
How are you talking to me? And y'all don't even speak to us, the Samaritans. Now, come on, watch this. She said, and I'm a Samaritan woman. How are you talking to me at all? Come on.
For the Yehudim have no dealings with the Samaritans.
Because y'all don't even like us. Come on.
Verse 10. Yahushua answered and said unto her, if thou knewest the gift of Elohim, and who it is that saith unto thee, give me to drink, thou would have asked of him, and he would have given thee living water.
Woo! Did you hear what the king said? He said, girl, listen.
This is all wrong, girl. You got it.
If you knew me and who it was that was asking you for some water, you would have immediately turned around and asked me for some water.
Yeah. Living water.
He said, because you have no clue who I am. And that's a shame.
Living water.
Because you should know me.
Yeah.
In other words, you can't recognize.
You know about the well, but you don't know me.
Ain't that something? We're going to get to that. Man, that's a good point, too. Man, you batting 1,000. Maybe you should come every other week. Because that right there, man, you just knocked that one out the park. I ain't going to never forget that. How you know the well but don't know me?
Verse 11.
Man. Come on.
The woman saith unto him, sir, thou hast nothing to draw with, and the well is deep.
She said, well, based on what I see, you have nary a bucket, nary a rope, nothing to get the water out, and that well is what?
Deep.
She said the well is deep.
Damn.
Come on.
From whence then hast thou that living water?
So you talking about give me some living water. Now the word living water represents the word flowing water.
That's right.
So the wells, and I don't have time to get into this, but well water is not stagnant. You dig the well, but the well is actually coming from underground streams that keeps that well at a particular level. So when he said, I would have gave you living water, he was using a play on words. He said, I would have given you fresh, cool water. And that's why she said, I don't get it. You don't even have a bucket. Okay, come on.
Verse 12, she's still speaking. Art thou greater than our father Jacob, which gave us the well?
So now she know her people. She said, are you greater than, Jacob is Israel, right? Are you greater than Jacob who gave us this well? Oh boy,
our father.
She flexing a little bit. Okay, let's see where this is gonna go.
Gave us the well and drank thereof himself and his children and his cattle.
So they all drank of the water, and his children and his cattle. Remember, every time you see the word water, you're gonna see it represents Torah. So did Jacob drink of Torah? Of course. Did his children, the 12 tribes of Israel? Of course.
Yeah.
So now you're starting to see, Zion, that this beautiful picture of Torah is seen in MEM, water. Come on.
Verse 13.
In my aim, go ahead.
Yahushua answered and said unto her, whosoever drinketh of this water shall thirst again.
He said, you talking about this water right here? It don't matter. Whoever come and get this water that you talking about out of Jacob's well, it don't matter who it is. They will get thirsty again. Watch this. Come on.
But whosoever drinketh of the water that I shall give him shall never thirst.
Stop. What do you mean? I don't get it. You got water that I'm never going to be, I can drink this water and never be thirsty again. Come on.
But the water that I shall give him shall be in him a well of water, springing up into everlasting life.
Pause. Y'all see these sisters at the well? You know this picture wasn't taken 2,000 years ago, right? to prove one thing to you, Zion.
Come on.
We still get water out of wells. Do you see that rope? You know why that rope is on that bucket? Because the well is deep.
Deep. And deep water.
Do you see why they even have a bucket? Because the water got to come up. You can't reach your hand down there and get it. Mm-mm. So we're going to show you the MEM. That's my point. Mm-hmm. So here, Hamashiach came and was sitting on this well. And here come the sisters to get one sister. She come down here, and he's sitting on the well. He like, give me a drink. So that meant he was telling her, let the bucket all the way down, fill it up, bring up, and let me drink. Mm-hmm. And then she was like, oh boy, okay, wait, what's going on here? Then he said, well, if you would know who I am, you would have asked me, and I would have gave you living water. And then she was like, okay, I don't know where he's going with this whole living water thing. Maybe a little. But he said, basically, he was going to give me water. He ain't got a cup or rope or nothing. So let's see how this is going to happen. Come on.
Verse 15. The woman said unto him, sir, give me this water, that I thirst not.
She said, all right, well, if you got some water, some super water, that if I drink one drop of it, I'm never going to be thirsty again. That means I'll never have to walk through these hot, dusty streets again and carry this heavy. Man, have you been carrying water since you've been in the country? Them 5-gallon buckets ain't light, are they? No. Man, you get 2 5-gallon buckets in both hands full of water and have to walk with it.
Oh, my goodness.
Feed animals and all that kind of stuff. You already know that's heavy. Yeah. And these sisters, man, do this every day.
Every day. That's the next part. Neither come hither to draw.
She said, I will never come back here. This would be my last time. She was bragging about Grandpa's well.
Yeah, she was.
But boy, when he said I got some water, you won't have to thirst again. She was like, wait, what? She said, you will never see me back out here. Come on.
Verse 16. Yahushua said unto her, go call thy husband.
He said, okay, you want this water? Go get your husband.
And come hither.
Tell him to come here. What verse you on, man?
17 now.
Well, we don't want to way past where I was going, but let's keep going because it's a good story. Come on.
The woman answered and said, I have no husband. Yahushua said unto her, thou hast said well, I have no husband, for thou have had 5 husbands.
She said, girl, you ain't fooling nobody. I don't have a husband. You don't think I know that? He said, you right. You don't have 5 husbands.
And he whom thou now hast,
and the one you living with right
is
now,
not thy husband.
And the thing I don't know, because the language is iffy.
Right.
He said the one that you have now is not your husband. Mm-hmm. So are you with somebody else's husband? We don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe after 5 tries, she just said, forget it.
Right.
You know what I mean? I just do a little laying and playing.
That's what happens.
A little playing and laying.
Yeah.
You got to pay to lay. Maybe that's her thing now. Whatever it is, he said, go get your husband. She confessed it.
Yeah.
Which means, Zion, we dealing with something deeper than physical water.
That's right.
Her soul. See, she's been through some things.
Yes, she has.
It's being revealed now. Come on.
In that saith thou truly to her. Verse 19. The woman saith unto him, sir, I perceive that thou art a prophet.
She said, oh, you a preacher.
He know me.
So you a preacher, huh? You all in this prophecy thing, huh? So then she's trying to go all philosophical and deep on it, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. But keep going.
Verse 20. Our fathers worshipped in this mountain.
Now she want to talk about where to worship. She's trying to change the subject. Come on.
And ye say that in Jerusalem is the place where men ought to worship.
Now, they ain't brought up nary a thing about Jerusalem, Samaria, nothing. She trying to change the subject quick. She said, oh, you a preacher, huh? Mm-hmm. That's what everybody does when they meet me and I'm a more, right? Yeah. They'll be talking about one thing. They find I'm a more. They'll be like, you know what? I've always had a question. Where did Cain get his? Boy, they don't want you in their business.
Goodness. Let's talk about something else.
Let's talk about anything else. But watch this though, y'all. It's a beautiful story. Come on.
Verse 21. Yahushua saith unto her, woman, believe me, the hour cometh when ye shall neither in this mountain
Let's get back to
nor
the
yet at Jerusalem
right.
worship the Father.
Correct. Come on.
Ye worship, ye know not what. We know what we worship. For salvation is of the Yehudim. But the hour cometh, and now is, when the true worshipers shall worship the Father in spirit and in truth.
Yes.
For the Father seeketh such to worship him.
He said, because the Father's looking for that kind of person who's looking now to worship in spirit and in truth. Ruach and Emet, two Hebraic words. And he was like, you don't even understand that I knew you before we even started this conversation.
Yeah.
And I still offered you living water.
Yes.
See, that's the deepness of this thing.
Yeah.
What he was saying was, I knew you before you knew I knew you. And yet you didn't see me run. You didn't see me cuss you out.
Right.
You didn't see me start calling you all kind of heifers and all kind of this and that. No. I've literally offered you the well of living water that would spring up, water that will spring up inside of you, a well. So the point is this, he says, he can only do that if he is the water.
That's it.
And that's the whole point he's making. He's saying the word of Yah is looking for people who want to follow and keep Torah. And what happens is that once Torah is in your life, and now, which is Yah's instructions, guiding you and guiding your life, he says that particular water will never, ever run dry. So that when she's trying to change the subject, he just quickly brought her back into the point. We're dealing with worship now. We're dealing with Abayah now. We're dealing with Torah now. We're not dealing with what your daddy said. We're not dealing with what your cousin says or what Jewish Hebrew Israelites say. Right now, we're trying to get you to understand something about your condition and what you need. Come on.
Elohim is a spirit.
He said, because Yah is spirit. Ruach.
Yeah.
Come on.
And they that worship him.
And they that are going to worship him must
worship him in spirit and in truth.
See? And you can't do that without Torah.
No.
You can't do that without the word.
No.
You can't do that without him. That's in the MEM.
Trying to hold the spirit. Just the spirit. Whose spirit? His spirit comes with the truth.
All right. We've been on here too long. Man, told our about for tonight. I'm going to give you these 40s. And we're going to go. If you all understand now that Hamashiach. Oh, by the way, I do have a verse where he already gave you Peter, 2 Peter chapter 3. I gave you Romans. Did we do Ephesians yet? I wrote that one down. Ephesians chapter 5, 26. We did Ephesians. So the last thing I want to give y'all concerning Hamashiach. Go to Isaiah chapter 12. Is that what I want? Isaiah 12.
Isaiah 12, what?
Start at verse 1.
Okay.
I think that's what I want.
Right.
Let me see. Oh my goodness, yes.
Okay.
We want to start at 1 and just read.
All right. Isaiah 12. And in that day thou shalt say, O Yahuwah, I will praise thee. Though thou wast angry with me, thine anger is turned away, and thou conformest me. Behold, Elohim is my salvation.
Woo! That word salvation is Yehoshua.
That's it.
It's Yeshua.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I will trust and not be afraid.
I'm not going to be afraid. Come on.
For Yahuwah, Elohim is my strength and my song. My song. He also has become my salvation.
And he's not only my strength and my song, but Yah has become my salvation. And the word became flesh. Yeah. His name, Yahoshua, is Yah's salvation. As a matter of fact, the very word Hamashiach, if you take out the Ha and just say Mashiach, starts with a Mem. Mashiach means the anointed one. Yeah. It's a Mem. Come on.
Verse 3.
Verse 3.
Therefore, with joy shall ye draw water out.
Wait, therefore with what?
Joy.
Shall you do what?
Draw water out.
See, so now he's saying because Yah will himself come to save us, you with joy will be able to draw out the water that he gives. At the well, he told the woman, if you knew who I was, you would be asking me for the water, because you talk about, you know, your daddy, and you know this well. I ain't gonna never forget that long as I live. And you know this well, but you don't know the one your daddy knew.
Right.
You don't know your Elohim or your father. You don't know the salvation of your dad Israel. Because if you knew, you would understand I'm him.
Yeah.
Boy, by the time he revealed that to her, boy, she took off.
She took off and knew who he was.
Said, where's she going?
Told everybody.
I'm going back.
Told
Y'all don't
everybody.
understand. Boy, she went and told the whole city.
Told everybody. Mashiach is here.
They said, girl, you out of breath and you ain't got nary a bucket. She said, forget that right now.
Right.
Y'all don't understand who I just was talking to. You need to come sing.
Right.
Well, tell me about it. I'm out of breath. You need to come sing.
I already went there to get water. I'm thirsty. I'm out of breath. Y'all got to come.
And do you know, man, I'm cutting to the chase on that story, but do you know that they all came out to see him?
Did. All of them. They all knew.
And after talking with him for just a moment, they said, at first we came out here because she came, when she came back to town, man, and she was just so animate about who you was, but now it ain't based on her testimony no more. We met you ourselves. We know you him.
Yes.
That punched their ticket into the kingdom. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
Being in Samaria, they thought they were separated. But when they found out that Yah was looking for those who want to worship in spirit and truth, and they found and bowed the man was okay. But anyway, y'all got the picture? It's a fulfillment of Isaiah. All right. Last thing I want to do on this, let's go to Revelation. I'm going to have to get to 40 some other time. While he's going to Revelation chapter 21, the number 4040 is the number. I'm just going to give you, write these down because I don't have time to get deep into it. But 40 represents the idea of testing or what we would call transformation. Testing for the purpose of being transformed or testing to move you to a higher level. Remember, Yah never tests just for the point of testing somebody. That's not his thing. The MEM, the 40, will always represent a trial or a test to hopefully make it better. And I can show you these 40, like the 40 days of the flood, right? You had, and that was so the world could be better. Moses went up after 40 days to get the laws of the written laws of Yah so that Israel could be better. Yehoshua fasted 40 days and 40 nights in order that he might then do the work of Hamashiach on the planet, so be tempted by the devil and be successful and win. 40 years in wilderness. And we had 40 years of the wilderness, which was supposed to take out the slave mentality and put into us the mentality of free kings.
That should have been it.
And queen. Priests to the Most High Yah. 40 years, man. So that's all in that MEM. We're going to close out with looking at the words of Hamashiach in Revelation chapter 21. 21. So where I want you to start. You got 22?
I got 22 with the one.
I got 21:6.
We go in that order then. 21:6.
Yeah, and fix it, because you know them Greeks gonna always try to put their little something in there.
Oh yes, Revelation 21 verse 6.
If y'all ready to go to Revelation 21 verse 6, put up, because we're gonna have to end it right here. Put a hallelujah, 100,000 in this chat, please, on this study. We all in the same room, all on the same page. It's the last verse for tonight. It's too much. It's so much more we can do, but time is winding it. Is running out on us. So come on, man. Let's
verse 6.
Yes.
And he said unto me, it is done.
He said it's done. This is the revelation. We're wrapping it all up. It's done. Go ahead.
I am Aleph and Tav.
Thank you.
The beginning and the end.
He said, man, I'm Aleph and I'm the Tav. You Greeks with your Alpha and Omega, you lying wonder. You going to hell. He said, don't you add or take away. And look what you did. You put your nasty, stinking language on top of our language, and then gonna have all our people run here, how he the Alpha and Omega. Boy, y'all gonna pay for that. Because that Alpha don't mean nothing, that Omega don't mean nothing. But that Aleph represents the strong power. And you know that the Tau represents the covenant. He is the power and the strength of the covenant. Come on.
I will give unto him that is athirst of the fountain of the water of life freely.
He said, I'm over that. I'm going to give to him, those that are seeking it, those that are following me, because I've settled it. That MEM, the fountain of the water of life, I'm just going to give it to them freely. In other words, they can have as much as they want. They're not going to be thirsty no more. I know how you heathens have treated my people, how they've gone through this and that. But you don't understand, you heathens, the power of the MEM. You don't understand the power of Torah. You don't understand the power of Yah's word. You don't understand the fact that you didn't start this thing, you can't stop it.
That's right.
You didn't build the wave, and you can't add to it or take away. His judgment is coming whether you like it or not. It ain't enough prayer in the world to stop them seals from being popped open, and them trumpets from blowing, and them vials from being poured out on this planet. And Babylon the Great shall fall with the beast and the system. Right. And when it's all said and done, we way over in 21 now. It's over. He said it's done.
Yeah.
And the last thing he does is bring back to your mind the MEM, the water, the living water, the pure water.
Hallelujah.
And he says, now it's yours. You can drink freely.
Chapter 22, verse 1. Yes. All we're going to have is that pure water at the end.
Yes.
Verse 20, chapter 22, verse 1. And he showed me a pure river of water of life, clear as crystal, proceeding out of the throne of Elohim.
Yes.
And of the Lamb.
So what is the picture we get? Crystal clear waters. When I think about Shamayim, they say when this water is coming down the river and it falls over, something about this whole thing creates a cleansing. So that as it starts from here on down, they say it's crystal clear. And people who have been here said they're shocked that they could be out in that water and could see the bottom. They didn't see the rocks on the bottom. I'm like, what? They said, yes, that clear.
Yeah.
And that's on earth.
Right.
Imagine what this is going to be like for us, Zion, when we get to the holy city.
Yeah.
When it's all said and done and it's over, he said it's going to be yours. The river of life. Don't think in your mind some little bitty narrow stream. No, the whole nation got to be able to get in here and drink. It's going to be paradise.
Yes. Hallelujah.
Man, read that one more time. I just want to hear it.
And he showed me a pure river of water of life, clear as crystal, proceeding out of the throne of Elohim and of the Lamb. I'm in verse 2. And in the midst of the street of it, and on either side of the river, there was a tree of life, which bare 12 manner of fruits, and yielded her fruit every month. And the leaves of the tree were for the healings of the nations.
Oh, man. So listen, Zion, this MEM speaks of our Hamashiach being the water of the word. The word is his message is Torah. It represents the very power of judgment. When we see the great waves of the ocean, the tidal waves of the ocean, we see the power of the rushing rivers. It also represents the blood, and we mentioned that as far as the sacrifice of our Mashiach on our behalf. It also represents cleansing us individuals, whether the word rubs us wrong or not. It's always trying to make us better. We have to, and then last but not least, if we have Torah in our hearts based on the text, he's going to offer us a river of living water that becomes a well on the inside. That does what? Produces more and more word, more Torah, more obedience. And of course, when it's all said and done, he says, when it's done, it's done. And he says, I'm going to offer you again to come to the river of life freely and drink. So all these pictures are in that letter MEM.
Right.
And that's why Zion, Uran and I feel the responsibility, but the privilege of showing you your alphabet. That's so much deeper than anything else any heathen has ever created or came up with. This right here, y'all, if you get this under your belt, I keep saying that, if you can put this in your heart, you will be a transformed person. Your whole life will change. Yes. You will see things and begin to see things the way they're supposed to be seen. So I pray that tonight you have freely been able to drink from the word of Torah, that your spiritual soul has been quenched, and that you feel satisfied. Man, have you ever been running or done something, man, and been so exhausted at the end that you don't want no sweet tea?
Nothing but water. Don't want no.
You've been there already.
Soda.
You don't want a soda. You be like,
don't even want Gatorade.
Man, what do you want then?
I want that pure, cold, delicious.
And until you get to that point spiritually,
yes. Oh, come on now.
You know what I'm saying? You will never really receive it.
No.
You have to get to the point where you're so tired of the rest of them that you like, just give me some pure water, please.
That pure river water of life.
I don't need no Baptist water.
Come on.
I don't need no Church of
God water.
No Kojic water, man. Don't give me no Pope water. Don't give me no
Definitely don't give me.
Just give me the water of the word. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, you don't want that.
Don't want that. I got so many stories about
you crazy. We got to go, Zion. And as always, y'all know we enjoy being with you. That's why we hang out. And I'm always telling Yaron how blessed I am to hang out with him.
I'm blessed. This is good.
You know, once a week we get a chance to hang out.
Yeah.
So even if we get too busy to hang out, man, we always try to at least hook up like once or twice a week. One love, put a hallelujah 1 million in this chat if this night has been beneficial, if you've learned something, if the MEM have opened up your mind, your understanding to a little bit more about our people and how we saw things and observed things and understood things. Put a 1 million in this chat. Almost 300 people, man, in this room as we shut it down. Don't forget, go and support the work of the ARK. Some of y'all, before you came in my room, you was in Hula's room. And so we're doing this full time. And earlier today, of course, Hula and them was teaching school and working and we taking care of business around here. So when you support us, you really are supporting the good work. And we're going to do we're going to do all we can to support you.
Right.
What'd you say?
I'm saying they're supporting multiple generations, the new generations of kids, what they're learning.
Man, don't you wish we would have got this? Boy, I might have got this at 12 or 13. Man, my daughters is learning Hebrew. Goodness. And they taking Hebrew studies, right?
Right.
I'm jealous.
And they're not going to keep it to themselves. They're going to spread that.
Yes.
So all these donations y'all support allow that word to be spread. That river.
That river is going out. They asked me, they said, so Dad, so you're More, huh? I said, yeah. So you teach Israel? I said, yeah. I said, but you Israel, right? So you the More, and you are our dad, and you are our teacher.
Right.
Yes.
All the above.
I said, but, and I've told you this. It's so important that they get it. It's really more important that they get it than we get it.
I say it all the time.
Do you really?
All the time at the house. I'm like, it's not going to be on us. This part of teaching and showing y'all what it is.
Yes.
Y'all going to be the ones that have to live it out and show the next generation that
right.
The Most High sees fit.
Right.
Y'all might be the generation that got to walk it out.
Y'all might have to walk it out. And so that's why we share this with you all. Because when you guys support this work and we can keep passing it on, and then the kids are picking it up, and then adults is getting excited, and it's helping to wake up Jacob. And I can't tell y'all how much I appreciate what you all do.
Y'all don't know.
I don't really have words for it, but for those who are around us, they know how appreciative we are and how we are doing the best we can.
And I think the kids are getting it. video Jade and Ari did where they was.
Zion, one day I'm gonna show you a clip of my two daughters mimicking me and Iran. Y'all ain't gonna grow.
They didn't know they was being recorded or nothing.
Nah, they were just
pure.
Yeah, they were just one was with
they really reading the script.
Hey, go ahead, read it.
Read it.
I said, what?
They got close to the camera with the box. Oh my goodness.
In other words, it's happening.
It's working.
And we giving God praise for that.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. What millions is in this room from all over. Let's take a couple names down here. South Carolina in the house.
Yeah.
Colorado in the house. Yes. Woo, Virginia. Y'all still woke. Alabama.
You know you got to sing that. Sing
Tennessee.
1 million.
1 million.
You got to sing your 1 million. They be waiting for it.
Oh, yeah. You got to put them 1 million in. Oh, you're funny.
They be waiting for it. My house, too. 1 million. So you
Man, you the singer.
You are, too.
One love, Zion.
Love y'all. Love y'all.
Got to go. Got to go.
Shalom.
That's funny.